Technology is reshaping our lives. It dramatically changed the way we live, the way we learn, the way we work, and the way we communicate. Technology has tremendous potential to connect us with one another. But there are still people who remain unreached, disconnected, and deprived of digital opportunities. Tech4ED centers serve as hubs that enable skills training and job opportunities.
We have more than 4,000 registered users, and about 67% are women, and majority composed of students as our beneficiaries. And why women? Because we are gender responsive, so all our programs are aligned with the gender and development program of our province.
Na tutunan ko yung ibang skills na dapat sa ibang schools na dapat per years dapat maano mo lang dito ng mabilisan ng mga months, mga 3 months, makakuha mo lang agad tapos maka-work agad.
This program helped me by finding a job and of course gaining more confidence as well. I was able to gain knowledge about the BPOs, on how does the environment work and how am I going to interact with my future customers before.
As of now, as I would the call center agent, so I see that difference because as of now I'm earning more than I have earned before as a tricycle driver.
You are now watching NOLITC's Gender and Development Webinars. This is Webinar 6, and for today's topic, we will get to know digital parenting. This second day of December 2020, streaming live over YouTube and Facebook. We would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for taking time off your busy schedules to join us today. My name is Dawn, and I will be your host for this afternoon. The Negros Occidental Language and Information Technology Center, or NOLITC, is the first and only government-run language and ID center in Western Visayas. It is a hub of language learning and information technology. The Learning Center is one of the priority programs of Governor Eugenio Jose Banglacson under his 7-point priority agenda, Avance Negrense. NOLITC also offers various scholarships for free online training, TESDA certified courses, assessment programs, and other special programs with support of the Provincial Gender and Development Focal Point System. The GAD Webinars is also another pioneering project of NOLITC Tech4ED Center. NOLITC Tech4ED Center aims to provide relevant ICT-enabled services and content to unserved and underserved communities. Today, we are joined by our participants from the Department of Education, Tabo National High School, Bacolod City College, Capiz State University, Department of Interior and Local Government, LOHS Community, Caregivers Home Health Care of Excellence Incorporated, VMA Global College and Training Center, LGUs of Sipalay, Bago, Victorias, Talisay, Bacolod City, Kabangkalan, Hinubaan, Hinigaran, and Silay, Barangay San Juan, MSWDO, LYDO, Economic Enterprise Development Department, or EEDD, Corazon Locsin, Montelibano Memorial Regional Hospital, ULGBT, TESDA, TSKI, Carlos Hilado Memorial State College, College of San Agustin, Bacolod City, Riverside College, and Riverside Medical Center, Technological University of the Philippines, PIDEA, Philippine Coconut Authority, Disaster Risk Reductions Management Office, Bago City College, University of St. LaSalle, Panishatic, PSWDO, BIPATEC, Bagani Community Center, San Carlos City Children's and Women's Affairs Incorporated, Bureau of Jail Management Penology, Concentrix Bacolod, San Carlos City Cooperative and Hospital Staff, VAW Federation, Taytay Sakaswagan Incorporated, Iloilo, Provincial Health Office of PNO, Negros Occidental Teachers Federation, Philippine Airlines, Silay City Office, Colonia Divina Integrated School, the GADA Iloilo, Nunescos, Banaag, CSWDO of Talisay, Hope Volunteers Foundation, and Lacan Selection College Bacolod, and many more of you who are joining us through YouTube and Facebook Live. Please comment the name of the city or municipality if you are joining us live. All right, let us start with a prayer to be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem, the Negros Hymn.
As we observe the 18-day campaign to end violence against women or VAW from November 25th to December 12th, we ask you, Lord, to look with kindness upon all of us who are gathered here. Fill our hearts and minds with love, wisdom, and courage as we face our daily lives. We pray for all women and girls who suffer from domestic violence, rape, incest, sexual harassment, trafficking, prostitution, and other forms of violence. May they have the courage to break their silence, find protection, healing, and justice. We pray for the perpetrators of VAW that they may learn to respect women and girls and stop the violence. O loving Father and Mother, send us your Spirit so that everything that we do will be done with love and respect for our fellow humans. Regardless of age, sex, class, ethnicity, and ability, O powerful God, develop in us a high regard for the thoughts, feelings, and experiences of everyone, and bestow on us the capacity to promote, protect, and fulfill the rights of women and girls. Almighty Creator, grant us the strength to stand up against all forms of violence happening to women and girls, the sharpness to recognize a silenced victim of VAW, the courage to speak up against VAW, the resourcefulness to help a victim of VAW, and the resolve to never commit any form of VAW. For all of this, we implore your guidance. Amen.
Noon pa man, malaki na ang naging bahagi ng mga kababaihan sa lipunang Pilipino. Kaisa sila sa marubdob na paghahangad ng kalayaan ng ating lahi. Kabilang sila sa paglinang ng ating makulay na sining at mayamang kultura. Kasapi sila sa pagtataguyod ng mga adhikain ng kapwa mamamayan at sa pagtugon sa mga pangangailangan ng lipunan. Katuwang sila sa pagtuklas sa mga larangan ng agham at medisina. Kapanalig sila sa pagpapairal ng batas, karapatan at katarungan para sa lahat. Kabahagi sila sa paglilingkod sa bayan at sa pagpapanatili ng demokrasyang Pilipino. Sa paglipas ng panahon, hindi nagmaliw ang kanilang pag-ibig sa ating inang bayan. Mga kababayan, ito ang alay ng mga kababaihang Pilipino para sa bayan. Tumayo po tayong lahat at sabay-sabay nating awitin ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Ayaw magiging pero sa silanganan, hanap ng puso sa tingin mo'y buhay. Lupang hiniram, tulad ka ng pag-ibig sa panlulupin. Di ka masisingil sa nakatakot sa sige at sa langit mong mahal. Maginagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawat mo'y tagumpay na naglilingin. Ang ituwing ng araw ng kailang pamalimagilig. Lupa ng araw ng 145 mo'y nangis sa ating mo. Ang higaya ng pagkay magkakakit, ang mamatay ng nais sa'yo. ating na probinsya. Nagtutuon na Negros sa isa katawugan, mapinalang tao. Sa buong natangguhan na isakripiso, sa kabuswagan, sa simple tao. Ikaw magandun sa angkas ng lag, alihog na ang tandaan sa kasal. Ako't wala ay mapilit sa kalulong, nanagagis ng nagagis na ako. Ang matutuot na Negros sa akin, isa katawagan, mapinalang tao. Sa buong natangguhan na isakripiso, sa kabuswagan, sa simple tao. Matutuot na Negros sa akin, isa katawagan, mapinalang tao. Sa buong natangguhan na isakripiso, pagbulikan, paghigayin, paghigugmod, dapat magwari. Para sa kauswagan, sa simple tao.
Good day to each and everyone. Greetings to our participants from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, and to the other parts of the world. Thank you for joining us today. Send the link to your peers and colleagues. Share this webinar and drop your comments in our comment section, and let us make this 2-hour session interactive. Let me try to read your comments, all right? So some of you may have dropped your greetings and have mentioned the name of your places. Good afternoon to Miss Rogeline Villaseran. Yes. Good afternoon as well to Sir Joe Alan Cañete Layagi. All right. And Miss Denia Serrano. Hello there. Good afternoon as well. Good afternoon to Justin Padernal Togle. Hi there. Hello, MJ Salipot. Good afternoon from Hannah Gamao, our contact center trainee. Good afternoon to Ma'am Lalex from San Carlos City Children and Women's Affairs Incorporated. Thank you for always joining us every session. Hello there to Neil Jan Luis Duenas, our student from CCS Batch 151. Good afternoon as well from to Ma'am Lynn Cuenca of Sagay City. Hello there. Hello there to our trainee from Cadiz City, Neri Padernal. Good afternoon as well to Miss Glens Ocampo and to Sir Eds de la Madrigal watching all the way from Bicol, Camarines Sur, Naga City PNP, Naga City Police Office, and PSSG EDS Madrigalios. Shout out to NCPOW, CPD. I read all of your comments. Hello there. And to all of you who are joining us live today via Facebook and YouTube live stream, thank you for joining us in this another interactive webinar session. All right, this year, GAD Talks goes virtual with a series of webinars from November to December 2020. Recently, NOLITC has pivoted to online training and conducted various in-demand webinars such as this. This is our most urgent and most accessible response to the ongoing global pandemic by providing relevant services and facilitating digital inclusiveness of communities. Remind you that these webinars are absolutely free. That's right. To join, all you need to do is to register once. If you are not registered yet, please find the link in the description box. You don't need to register in each and every webinar. You only need to register once, and we will give you the complete access to our entire GAD webinars. That is one time only. To participate in the open forum, you will need to post your questions in the open forum form provided in the comment section or in the description box. Please find the link. All of our comments or questions can be asked through that online open forum link. I hope you got that right. Let me remind you to fill out the online attendance right now. Can you do that? Please find the online attendance in the comments section. So we have pinned the online attendance link to the comments section. We will not be able to catch up with all of your comments. So if you have any question, please post them in the open forum form and not in the comments section. Again, the link to our open forum can be found in the description box below. So kindly check that out. The moderator will bring them up towards the end of the presentation. You will also be receiving a digital certificate after attending this webinar online. You only need to accomplish the online evaluation of the webinar. Again, that can be found in the description box below. Please do that within today, and the deadline for the evaluation is up to 12 midnight only of today. I hope you are all catching up with me with some of our opening reminders. Today, we will have another very informative session. If you are with me now, kindly comment in the chat box, I'm here. All right? Okay, so if you have not seen our previous post yet, you can always check out our social media accounts, follow us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, so let us now start with our session proper. NOLITC continues to deliver relevant and COVID-free training programs through the strong leadership of Governor Eugenio Sebang Lacson. Let us hear his remote message.
Violence has a myriad of manifestations. It can come from threats, verbal or nonverbal, discrimination, and other menacing gestures. Even silence can be used as a form of violence. As we commemorate this year's 18-day campaign to end violence against women, let us seriously acknowledge that violence against women is one of our pervasive social problems, that this can only be addressed if society will truly admit that all of our desires, hopes for ourselves and our families are universal in nature, and that no interest or well-being of one gender or one class is superior than the other. That the rights of women are human rights and should be accorded due respect, and must be championed, propelled, and strengthened by the government if need be. To Negros Occidental Language and Information Technology Center and the Provincial Gender and Development Focal Point System, thank you and congratulations for hosting this innovative series of webinars aligned with the goal of the 18-day campaign to end VAWC and to promote gender equity, particularly in this time of pandemic. May the good Lord continue to guide and enlighten the path of our cause to end violence against women. Avance, Negrense.
All right, thank you very much, Governor Lacson. Today, we are so honored to share the message of Her Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines, Vice President Maria Leonor Leni Robredo, in observance of the 18-day campaign to end violence against women and children.
Mainit na pagbati sa lahat ng nakikiisa sa 18-day campaign to end violence against women. Maraming salamat sa aktibo ninyong pakikilahok sa pagsulong ng karapatan ng mga kababaihan. Sa karanasan ko bilang isang human rights lawyer at hanggang ngayon bilang pangalawang pangulo, mulat tayo. Maraming dalahin ng babae na kadalasan ay hindi nakikita ng mga nakapaligid sa atin. Sa bahay, tayo ang una at huling takbuhan. Sa trabaho, kadalasan, mas malaki ang kailangan nating pasan kahit mas mababa naman ang kinikita. Alam nating lahat kung paano magtikom ng labi sa harap ng pambabastos. Saksi tayo kung paanong tayo ang mas madalas maabuso at mahamak. Mas bumibigat ang mga pasaning ito sa konteksto ng pandemya. Alam natin na sa panahon ng krisis at sakuna, tumataas ang mga kaso ng domestic violence, na karamihan pa ay unreported dahil nakukulong ang mga biktima kasama ang kanilang mga abusers sa ilalim ng isang bubong. On top of this, reproductive health services have also been hampered. And with lockdowns enforced everywhere and no one to turn to, women have no choice but to suffer in the shadows. Totoo rin na nitong mga nakaraang taon, nakita natin ang momentum ng pagkakaisa natin. Kung may magsalita na isa, nagiging mas matapang ang iba. Dito sa Pilipinas, maswerte tayong manirahan sa itinuturing na isa sa pinaka-gender equal na bansa sa Asia, ayon sa Global Gender Gap Index 2020. Pero sigurado akong sasang-ayon kayo, napakarami pang kailangang gawin. Nagsisimula ang lahat sa pag-unawa sa ugat ng mga suliranin. In the work that we do at the OVP, may nakilala kaming mga nanay na tinitiis ang pang-aabuso ng kanilang mga partners. Takot na umalis dahil walang sariling kakayahan na suportahan ang mga anak. Saan nga ba kukuha ng pagkain kung wala ang asawa nagtatrabaho? Narinig namin ang mga kwento ng mga batang babae na para bang nawalan na ng pag-asa na abutin ang mga pangarap nila dahil hindi nabibigyan ng sapat na oportunidad para maisakatuparan ng mga ito. Kaya nga ang palagi nating sinasabi, economic empowerment ang unang hakbang tungo sa tunay na women empowerment. Kung ang bawat babae ay may kakayahang itaguyo ng kanyang sarili at ang kanyang pamilya, mas nagiging buo ang loob niya na palayain ang sarili sa anumang nagpipiit sa kanya. Pang-aabuso, kahirapan, o kawalang katiyakan para sa kinabukasan. Ang paniniwala natin, sa bawat Pilipina na magbibigyan ng hanap buhay, isang pamilya ang maiaangat mula sa hirap. At sa bawat pamilyang magbabago, isang komunidad ang pwedeng umasenso. Lahat ito nagdurugtong para pumanday ng isang lipunan kung saan pwedeng mabuhay ng may dignidad, anuman ang kasarian o katayuan sa buhay. This reaffirms our belief. Our lives and our destinies are intertwined. Magkakarugtong ang diwa nating lahat. Ang hamon sa isa ay hamon sa lahat. Sa parehong paraan na ang pag-angat ng isa ay pag-angat din ng lahat. The greater the challenge, the greater the imperative to pull together. And I know that you are always up to this task. Kaya sa inyong lahat, sige lang, laban lang. Huwag sana kayong mawala ng lakas ng loob sa panahong ito. Patuloy pa sana tayong humanap ng paraan. Lumikha ng mas marami pang oportunidad para sa ikauunlad ng kababaihan, lalo na para sa mga susunod na henerasyon ng Pilipina. Hindi kayo nag-iisa. Nasa likod ninyo ako at ang buong team namin sa OVP, along with so many others committed to the pursuit of a fairer, more humane, truly equitable society. Maraming salamat, mabuhay kayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Vice President Robredo, for that message. And we also would like to thank the Provincial Council for Women for facilitating the recorded message of VP Lenny Robredo. To kick off today's webinar, let us have the Vocational School Administrator and Center Manager of NOLITC Tech4ED Center, who will be introducing our moderator for today. Let us give a virtual round of applause to Dr. Maria Cristina B. Arbicido.
Thank you, Red. Our moderator is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Marketing Management from the University of St. La Salle, Bacolod. A former professional basketball player and an award-winning news anchor and public service show host of ABS-CBN. He was voted as SELAI's #1 counselor and chairman of Tourism, Culture, and the Arts and Education. A member of the Sangguniang Palalawigan as president of the Philippine Counselors League of Negros Occidental Federation, chairman of ICT, Trade, Industry, and Commerce in the Sangguniang Palalawigan, currently host of Salandigan, an FB online show for COVID updates, health protocols, and other news pertaining to the province of Negros Occidental are aired every Saturday, 5 p.m. on his official page, Salandigan. Married to Carmela Arcolas Gamboa, with whom they have raised two teenagers, Carl Elron and Lauren Isabel. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a virtual applause to our moderator for today, Board Member Ryan Milos Romeo M. Gamboa.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much, Dr. Christine Arbesido of NOLITC. Thank you for that warm introduction, and good afternoon to all of our viewers on Facebook Live and on YouTube as well. Of course, welcome to our GAD webinar on digital parenting. We have a very special lineup set up for you today, and we have a very special guest also to give us a lot of important and informative input regarding our webinar on digital parenting. Of course, by the end of this webinar, we are expected, or participants would be able to, number one, give the definition of A, digital parenting, B, digital natives, and C, digital media, digital technology, and some of their examples. Number two, to discuss the various challenges faced by parents in their digital engagement with children. Number three, identify the positive and negative effects and impact of digital media and digital technology usage of children and parents. Number four, describe the 4 parenting styles, the behaviors of parents, and the effects on children of each style. Number 5, evaluate the best style of parenting and apply this to create a more effective and satisfying development of our children in this digital age. Of course, this seminar would not be complete without our guest speaker, and it is my honor to introduce our esteemed guest speaker. Our speaker is known as Becky to her friends, or Miss Becky among her students, clients, and colleagues. She is a registered psychologist, a registered guidance counselor, and a certified specialist in assessment and counseling psychology based in Bacolod City. She is a member of the Order of Secular Discalced Carmelites. She obtained her Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, graduating cum laude from Silliman University. Later on, she completed the academic requirements for Master's Studies in Community Psychology at the Ateneo de Manila University. In 2009, she obtained her Master of Science in Psychology, Guidance and Counseling from the University of St. LaSalle, graduating with high academic honors. She has completed the academic requirements for a PhD in psychology at the University of Negros Occidental, Recoletos, here in Bacolod City. She was 5th placer during the licensure examination for guidance counselors in 2011 and was exempted from the licensure examination for psychologists in 2014. She has served as psychometrician for 4 years at St. Scholastica's Academy, as crisis counselor and college professor for 20 years at the University of St. LaSalle, and as consultant psychologist for 3 years at La Consolacion College, all in Bacolod City. She had spent 9 years working with a mental health center, first as training specialist and later as training officer in the Philippine refugee processing camp in Morong, Bataan, and as a training consultant in Hong Kong, China, of the training program for social services refugee paraprofessionals. For the past 32 years, she has been conducting and facilitating seminars, workshops, and trainings on various topics such as parenting, positive discipline, communication skills, intercultural competence, cultural adjustment, child abuse, case management, counseling skills, caring for carers, play therapy, stress management, job burnout, stress debriefing of disaster victims, managing emotions through letting go, psycho-spiritual development, discovering personal strengths, developing a growth mindset, and other topics along her line of expertise. Here in the Philippines, she has been trained in mental health, psychosocial, support psychological, first aid, critical incident stress debriefing, crisis intervention, and psychotrauma management. Her trainings abroad include trauma stewardship at Portland University, Oregon, USA, and the eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or EMDR, therapy level 2 at Boise, Idaho, USA. At present, she is a consultant psychologist at the wellness clinic of Dr. Pablo O. Torre Memorial Hospital, while serving also as the psychologist of the Holy Family Home Bacolod Foundation, a protection and rehabilitation center for survivors of child abuse. Ms. Becky is married with 4 children and 2 grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you who are viewing us live on Facebook and on YouTube, it is my honor to introduce the guest speaker and presenter of our webinar on digital parenting for our GAD webinars this day, December 2, 2020, Rebecca Villanes, RPSY, RGC, CSAP, CSCOP. Good afternoon, Ms. Becky.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you so much for that gracious introduction. It makes me feel old with that length of introduction, but I'm also very happy. Yes, I'm very happy also to share my experiences and my knowledge to everyone who is present here in our virtual webinar. And thank you so much to NOLITC for inviting me once again here to share with you about this topic on digital parenting. So let me go straight to my presentation.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Becky. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah. All right, so the topic that was given to me is on digital parenting. And I think I must say, not only parenting, but digital grandparenting. Okay, so this is actually, I have to be honest, this is the first time that I will be talking about this particular topic. And I think it's really very timely and very relevant to us right now. Okay, so let me start with a backgrounder. Okay, so right now, according to UNICEF, there are 100 million people who are online in the developing world, no, or who were online in the developing world back in 2000, no? So 20 years ago, 100 million people. Now, how about now? Let us see the figures. From 100 million people, today, there are 3.6 billion people who are online in the developing world. That is almost double the present population of the world. No, our present population is 7.7 billion. Okay, so that's really tremendous. Okay, and we can see the very wide impact of digital technology. No, being online is part of it. Okay, so let me say also, no, that according to a study made by Benedetto and Ingracia, okay, in their report, they said that digital media have quickly changed ways in which parents and children communicate, enjoy themselves, acquire information, and solve problems daily, both in ordinary and exceptional circumstances, such as COVID-19, home confinement. Okay, as we all know, we are all confined to our, as we have experienced, we have been confined in our homes. In fact, for myself, because of my age, okay, I haven't, I haven't gone out for almost 8 months now. Okay, so imagine for children also, they have not gone to school since April or May. Okay, so this has changed in so many ways the way we live. Okay, and so given that scenario, let us take a look at the meaning of digital parenting. Digital parenting describes parental efforts and practices for comprehending, supporting, and regulating children's activities in digital environments. I underscored those three words: comprehending, supporting, and regulating. Okay, because these are our three main roles as parents in the digital age. Okay, so I have to be honest also, I am not a digital expert. Okay, but I am a digital user. And so part of the first role, which is to comprehend, to understand the languages used in our digital environment, is to take a look at some of these terminologies. Okay, so we begin with the term digital media. Okay, so this refers to any means of communication that uses electronic devices for distribution. As we know, when we say communicate, that means to say to share, to exchange, to distribute messages by various means. And so we now, no, we are now using the digital channels. And we call that digital media. Then we are probably more familiar with this term, electronic devices. Okay? So this include computers, mobile phones, TV, remotes, DVD, and CD players, and digital cameras. Okay? If I will ask you, if you are present, you would probably, no, those who are listening now, I am sure that all of you probably, no, have these devices for several years now at home. Okay, so digital media is commonly used for video games, videos, websites, social media, and online advertising. These two have become very, very common already. Okay, we are the word social media, that has become a very common term in our conversations already. And then another term is the digital technologies. These are electronic tools, systems, devices, and resources that generate, store, or process data. Okay, so the term digital technology, as I understand it, is wider, okay, than digital media. Okay, so some examples of digital technology that I am sure we are, most of which are we are familiar with. Of course, we have smartphones, digital televisions, okay, smart TVs, as we say, computers, printers, so books. Okay, there are many people who don't read the printed books anymore, but just rely on ebooks. Digital music, clocks, digital camera, geolocation or the GPS, self-scan machines. Okay. In fact, even our buying and selling online have already become digital. Of course, banking and finances, ATMs, even online banking, robotics, cars and other vehicles, drones, and guided missiles. Okay, those are some of the most common examples of digital technology. But it's not the list is not that limited. There are so much more. Okay, so given this scenario, okay, what can we then say about the children's experiences with digital technology? Okay, so the term digital natives comes up. Okay, so these are people who are born and are developing in environments in which new digital technologies are widely available. So the digital age is considered, this is called, otherwise called also as the third revolution, no? After the Industrial Revolution. Okay, so this is now the third revolution, the coming of digital technology. So since this began around 1960s, and when the internet came up in the 1980s, the spread has really been very, very fast. Okay, so our children, okay, and grandchildren are considered digital natives. And we as grandparents are adapting to this. We have to adapt to this also. Okay. So this currently occurs from early infancy due to the rapid diffusion of touchscreen devices among younger children or the touch generation, no? So yung swipe na, okay, before okay, tap, okay, now swipe, okay, touch generation. Okay, so imagine from early infancy, okay, before you have to wait until you get out from the hospital, okay, or from the delivery room before you can have pictures of your babies. But now, even inside the delivery rooms, you know, as soon as the baby comes out, or even with their, you know, what you call this, their ultrasound pictures, no, these things become available so fast and so soon. Now, according to studies, children aged 2 to 4 years are actually they are able to use touch screen devices such as tablets or smartphones to play or watch movies. We get to see on social media, on Facebook, you know, very young children who are exposed to this, who are using them, okay, at a very young age. And how do they learn about that? Well, oftentimes parents themselves, okay, next please. Okay. Oftentimes parents themselves are the ones who introduce kids to use them, particularly when they are, you know, when they are waiting, or when they are in boring social situations, you know, they have to wait for the pediatrician, for example, to come out. And so, you know, they give the gadgets to their kids so that the kids would not bother them. All right. Okay. So studies also show that 1 in 3 internet users in the world is a child. Could you imagine that? You know, 30% of internet users are children. Okay. When I say children, that's below 18 years old. Okay, legally, no, that's considered from 0. So 13 can, okay, they are, take a look, be a parental. Let's take a look at this. Very young children are regular users of smartphones and tablets. We have to be aware of this. And so their early digital engagement poses new challenges to parent-child relationships and parental role, okay? So we can probably say that before, parenting was kind of manageable. Of course, there are challenges, but here comes digital technology. It adds to our, you know, it adds to the things that we have to manage. okay, when exercising our roles as parents. We have to take that into consideration. We cannot ignore that anymore because, as you have seen, okay, based on population, number of users, and the availability, the presence of digital devices and technology, we have to accept and embrace and live and work with digital technology, digital media. Okay, so digital parenting, as I have earlier said, this is the first time I'm presenting about this among the topics that I have been giving to seminars, through seminars and workshops. Okay, so there are studies going on about this. Okay, however, in my presentation, I wanted to share some real experiences of parents. Okay, so this is not really a formal scientific study that I have done. I just did it to have some materials that might be interesting to our audience. Okay, so I did a mini survey. Okay, so I asked 7 people, okay, to answer some questions. So let me just give a brief background, a short background about them. Okay, so the first one is Andrew. Okay, of course, this is not their real names. Okay, so Andrew is the father of 2 grade school boys, and he is a school counselor. The second one is Kathy, a mother of a junior high girl and a grade school boy and a college professor. By the way, I asked their permission if I can incorporate their answers to our presentation, and they gladly gave their approval for this with a change of name to protect their identity. And then the third one is Nanette. Nanette is a single mother of a college freshman son, okay? And she works as a cook. Then the next one is Rose. Rose is a mother of 2 grade school boys, and she is a clinic staff. Then Stella, mother of 2 grade school boys, also a school counselor. Then Tracy is the mother of 2, and one of her children is in grade school, and the other is still a baby. And she is a corporate consultant, and they may be listening right now. Okay, and probably I could imagine the smiles on their faces. Okay, and then the last one is a couple. Okay, so Sandro and Mylene, they are parents of 3 girls, and 2 of whom are school age, and both of them are the Sandro and Mylene. They are teachers. Okay, so what are the 3 questions that I asked them? Just 3 simple questions related to our topic. Okay, so the first question is, what challenges do you encounter in your family's usage of digital technology at home? The second question, what are the positive and negative effects of digital technology which you have noticed in your children and in your family? And the third question is, as parents, what rules do you follow for your children regarding digital technology usage? Okay, and so they answer this. And our method of communicating was just by messenger. Okay. So when they gave me their answers, what I did was to categorize their answers. Okay. Of course, the three main questions, and then their answers were categorized according to the following themes. Under challenges, they had the categories came out like this. Okay. So the first challenge is on time usage and limits. Next is parents' role. Third, okay, next, please. Okay. I'm not sure if, all right. Parents' role, then the third is expenses. Sorry about that. I just asked somebody to you know, we have our technician who is helping, he's assisting me with the slides. All right, so we have connectivity, academics, attitude for children's overall development.
Yes. So I think there's some technical issues going on right now. So let me call in our moderator. All right. So yes. So yes.
Yes, hello. We lost Miss Becky, but we will try to get her back in a little while. We're just experiencing some technical difficulties. She will continue her presentation as soon as she comes back. Yes, we stopped at the challenges that she faced during her interview with several sample sets or real people who she gave aliases. Andrew, a father of two grade school boys and a school counselor. Kathy, a mother, junior high girl, and a grade school boy, college professor. Nanette, a single mother of a college freshman son or cook, and she's a cook. Rose, mother of two grade school boys and a clinic supervisor. Stella, a mother of two grade school boys and a school counselor. Tracy, a mother of two, one in grade school and the other still an infant, and she is a corporate consultant. And Zandro and Mylene, who are parents of three girls, and they're both teachers, and two of their daughters are school aged already. These are not the real names, and Miss Becky was already proceeding to tell us about how they reacted to her 3 questions. Her question number 1 was, what challenges do you encounter in your family's usage of digital technology at home? Of course, I'm sure everybody is curious about this, no? Especially
Yes.
now in the COVID era. Hi, Doctor, no? So,
Hello, sir.
yes. And then question number 2 is, what are the positive and negative effects of digital technology, which you have noticed in your children and family? And question number 3, as parents, what rules do you follow for your children regarding digital technology usage? So we will just wait, Ma'am Tin, for Miss Becky to get online again.
Yes, Board Ryan. So while we're waiting, maybe we
Mm-hmm.
can discuss a few things about her presentation. I like the
Mm-hmm.
way she did it, where when she gathered some of the actual experiences of parents regarding the use of digital media. I know you also agree with that one, and
Oh,
also
yeah.
the questions. Yeah,
Actually, I have some questions for her when she comes back now, because there's a challenge right now to parents, not just in the age of digital parenting, but also in the age of digital parenting and the COVID pandemic, because most of our interactions with our children now become digital. Our kids are already learning online. They have been, I would say, forced now to employ more digital tools in their everyday life, from learning to school to all kinds of things, even day-to-day things like shopping and ordering
yes,
food. So
yeah.
as a parent, you also are forced to learn, and it's also for the safety of your kids. So it's quite interesting how she gave all these different sample sets, and I'm really
Yes.
curious to see what answers each of these people or couples or parents have to say about
Yes.
how they deal with their parenting in the digital age.
And I'm sure all our audiences, our participants online streaming
Mm-hmm.
now live via YouTube and Facebook are also interested and having the same experience. I
Oh.
also have teenagers, and they're also experiencing a lot of stress
Mm-hmm.
with this with the COVID pandemic and with the online classes. It's now a different world. They call it the new normal. So these are things that really has some impact to our children, especially to our teenagers and also to kids. I've known some kids who doesn't want to go do the module. They want to go to school. So they want to meet their teachers, but we are being hindered because of this pandemic. So I'm really interested of the answers, and I'm also interested of the psychological impact of this
Oh yeah,
experience.
definitely,
Yeah.
Dr. No. And it's very interesting what Miss Becky pointed out, is that 1 in 3 internet users in the world is a child. No, so I guess
Yes.
there's no avoiding. And how interesting how she worded it, that now they are part of the touch generation. It's because
Yes.
most of our devices are touch screen, and you watch all of these sci-fi movies and fantasy movies, and you can't help but think that long ago we were thinking that touchscreen would be sci-fi and fantasy, but now it's a
Yes.
reality already. Who
Yes.
knows what's coming next, what the next generation is going to be? Is it going to be a voice generation? All of the voice commands will be taken in by a processor in your house, and everything, all the operations of your home and your vehicles and your business will be done by voice command. What's next? So now we're slowly learning to adapt to this new touch
Yeah. Yeah.
generation.
Yeah, actually, yesterday we had a very interesting topic about cyber
Mhm.
security for women and
Okay.
children, and a lot of issues were also brought up, like security of children in the digital space, and
Mhm.
how do we control, how do we minimize bullying to children and to women and to everybody who's in the digital space. So I guess Tita Beck is with us. She's
Okay,
back.
she's back. Hello, Miss
Yes.
Becky. Welcome back.
Yeah.
That's another difficulty in the digital age, is how can our fiber optic technology keep up with this? Because some,
Yeah.
we have this difficulty in learning but we have a problem with the signal, and so I guess it's also a challenge for our telcos and our different fiber optic companies to rise to the challenge also to keep up with touch generation. Welcome back, Miss Becky.
I agree.
If you're with us already, if the signal is fine, you may continue with your presentation.
Okay. Am I back? Oh dear. All right. So, let me resume. Well, we have to apologize to everyone. No, this is nobody's fault, and this is just we are experiencing right now the challenge, the big challenge when it comes to digital technology. And so, okay, so let me resume. So these are the answers of the respondents and limits. Okay, so
Technology is reshaping our lives. It dramatically changed the way we live, the way we learn, the way we work, and the way we communicate. Technology has tremendous potential to connect us with one another. But there are still people who remain unreached, disconnected, and deprived of digital opportunities. Tech4ED centers serve as hubs that enable skills training and job opportunities.
We have more than 4,000 registered users, and about 67% are women, and majority composed of students as our beneficiaries. And why women? Because we are gender responsive, so all our programs are aligned with the gender and development program of our province.
Na tutunan ko yung ibang skills na dapat sa ibang schools na dapat per years dapat maano mo lang dito ng mabilisan ng mga months, mga 3 months, makakuha mo lang agad tapos maka-work agad.
This program helped me by finding a job and, of course, gaining more confidence as well. I was able to gain knowledge about the BPOs, on how does the environment work, and how am I going to interact with my future customers before.
As of now, as I would be call center agent, so I see that difference because as of now I'm earning more than I have earned before as a tricycle driver.
Hello to our participants who are joining us online. We do really apologize for the technical difficulty that we are experiencing at the moment. That is because we are doing this live and we cannot really avoid some inconveniences that we encounter along the way. This only shows that this is live and this is so natural that we are having some glitches along the way. Probably because we are also experiencing very intermittent weather condition outside. So hence we are sometimes disconnecting. We do really hope that you are all in a very safe place and safe from this very bad weather condition. All right. Yeah, exactly. We are currently seeing some comments from our participants that they are also having a very inclement weather condition in their respective places, and some are also commenting that it could be probably with the a big challenge in our national internet connectivity. So, meantime, let me try to process some of your comments. Or if you have any comments about this talk, or you want to say a greeting, or you want me to shout out friends, or friends who are watching with you, please try to comment them in the chat box. This is the time that I will be reading some of your greetings. Let us try to greet people and let us show solidarity in this moment of inclement weather condition. Okay, so let me try to say good afternoon again to our participants whom I was not able to call out earlier. Hello there again to Chris M. Yeah, I hope you are still watching with us, and we really thank you for your for your kind understanding. Yes, and for staying with us up to the end of this webinar. Good afternoon to Neri Tamayo Padernal, Neil Jan Luis Duenas, Chris Torres Mira, hello, Javelin De La Cruz Montibon, and Antoy Diocades, Josephine May Alit, Mikay O. Lorga, Azanet Balwarte, good afternoon. Buela Dayono, Azanet Balwarte, hi there again from Tigbao National High School. Yes, Sergio Allen. Yeah, thank you for that comment. There is such a big challenge with our telcos nowadays, and it's real. And thank you for bearing with us. Hello to Miss Glenn's Akampot. Yeah, thank you for still watching with us. Shout out to Miss Regina Parulana and her Yeah, CCS trainer. All right, and thank you so much for your kind understanding. Let us see. Hello, Angela Alontaga. Thank you for staying with us. Let us check if our moderator and our moderator and Dr. Arbicido is with us.
Yes, thank you,
Hi.
Red. Yeah, we're
Thank you,
back. And
Red.
yeah,
We were just talking about the the poor signal and we were cut off.
yeah. And
Anyway,
there you go.
Doc Tino, that's one of the challenges I guess that we have to get over, especially in this age. I think we have to fix already our signals and our Wi-Fi. But of course, like Red said, the weather is not so good where we are right now, and that usually affects our Wi-Fi, our connectivity sa internet and then internet.
Yeah.
So those are things that we can't avoid.
Yes, yeah. And I hope our audience understand that one because we're trying really to do our best to deliver this very interesting topic. However, the heavy rains, I guess, it's really affecting our signal right now, and we're trying to stream live. So that's it. I guess
Yeah.
our resource speaker is also having some problems with connectivity, and she's trying to catch up with us. So for the meantime, maybe we can have a few discussions about what she already mentioned in her slides. You were saying that it is indeed very challenging for parents right now
Mm-hmm.
to really adjust to this new normal because of COVID-19. And there's a lot of reports that it has really affected a lot of kids and even adults who cannot cope with this experience. And also, it's not only these adults, but also those who are infected with the virus. Although they have recovered, they still feel the stress, I guess, and the stigma of what's going on right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this whole digital avenue of expressing education, learning, information, and communication, it's been very helpful during the COVID era, especially with not just for parents but for everybody who is experiencing this. As a matter of fact, Doc Tin, the in terms of medical assistance and consultation, they've already come up with the online consultations for those who are not feeling well, who are experiencing symptoms that they fear might be COVID-like, and it's evolved into a more different expression of medical consultation, like psychological naman kag psychiatric, like if they're experiencing trauma or stress or anxiety because of what they think is maybe they're imprisoned in their homes or they can't get out or there's so many restrictions and they get all stressed. So the internet and the digital age provides all kinds of outlets for, I guess, for parents, for kids who are just at home, especially
Yes.
with restrictions on age. Seniors can't go out, the grandparents can't go out that much, kids below a certain age level, depending on the city they're from, cannot go out either. And so they look to digital technology as their outlet, as their way of dealing with the situation that they find themselves in. So it's very interesting that this is our topic for today, digital parenting by Miss Becky. And we hope to have her back soon because we would like to find out how to cope not just with parenting kids in the digital age, but parenting kids in the digital age that just coincided with the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, yeah, I
Mm.
agree with you, Board Member Ryan Humboa.
Mm.
It is really an urgent issue right now. So we are caught up in a year where there's a lot of challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and we're getting closer to end this year, and still we continue to face a lot of challenges. And what's in store for us in 2021? There's a lot also of stress going through a lot of the minds of these young ones because they're excited to go back to school, and yet they are uncertain of what will be the situation in 2021. So we don't know yet. We are all uncertain of that one.
Yes. Before, during the 1960s and 1970s, they used to call the TV as the babysitter of the house. No, that the parents would work and the kids would be left at home, and their babysitter would be the TV. So they just turn on the TV, and that would be their distraction, their recreation for the time that their parents are not home. Now it's not anymore TV, but it's already internet. It's YouTube, it's Netflix. It's live YouTube, live Facebook lives, and all kinds of information, and TikTok, of course, for the kids. So now that has become the babysitter of basically the second parent of the kids, while the real parents are not available. So this webinar that we are dealing with, that we're taking up right now, this could actually help in clarifying and making the parents understand better what exactly this digital age is. Like what Miss Becky said, digital parenting describes parental efforts and practices for comprehending, supporting, and regulating children's activities in digital environments. So I guess we have, as parents, we have to accept na this is the age that we live in. We just have to comprehend, we have to support our kids, and we have to regulate. Meaning, even though they're there, the gadgets are there, there has to be a sort of monitoring and regulation still with how they use them.
Yeah. There's always a limit to the extent of their time being exposed to the internet, especially the kids, because they're more exposed to games, and sometimes games, you need also to check how fit is your kid to play that kind of game.
Yes.
Because sometimes there's violence in games, and there's no limitation to downloading this game. So as a parent, you must also guide your kids on what are the games that they're playing. So yesterday we were discussing this issue, and the advice of our resource speaker is really for us parents to monitor the sites visited by our kids, the games they play, the social media apps that they're using, and also as parents, we will be held accountable. Yesterday we were discussing about this shopping app where a kid would order a number of food, and then it was delivered, and the kid is not accountable for that one, but the parents, because that app was the account of the parents. So as parents, we should not look at social media as our babysitter. I don't know if you agree with that one. If before parents would use TV as the babysitter, now we'll use Facebook or games or YouTube. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea.
Exactly. And you know what, Doc Tin, actually there are some internet companies that are actually being more responsible in monitoring who is using their sites. Like example, Netflix, we have age restrictions for Netflix, where the primary subscriber is the parent, and he or she designates restrictions for the users of that. So when he says that the other two users are my kids, then the Netflix will automatically restrict the content which they can access. Whereas if they use your account, then you will know, because it will show up in your history that, okay, who watched this because I didn't watch this, and like that. And also other it's also, I guess, incumbent to websites, to internet companies or that are located, or companies that use the internet, to also monitor their restrictions of the kids and everything. Tsakto or correct ang ila ginahatag nga restrictions.
Yeah. I think Tita Beth is already backstage.
Is she in already? Yeah. Okay. So let's if she's in, let's welcome her back. Miss Bex, are you there? Okay.
Yes.
Welcome back. Yes.
I guess she's not using her video right now because of the intermittent signal.
Yes.
So we'll have her audio.
Audio only. Okay.
Right.
So, Miss Bex, if you're ready, just let us know, and we'll let you back
Okay.
in so you can
Yeah,
continue
she's
your
Can you
back.
hear me?
presentation.
Yes,
Okay.
Can you
yes,
hear me?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Miss Bex, welcome back, and you can
Thank
continue where
you.
you left off. If you'd like to give us a recap
Okay.
of what you were talking about earlier, give the
All
viewers a
right.
recap, then please do so.
Yeah. If our technician could flash on the screen the last slide that I was discussing, please. All right. So, challenges. Oh my goodness. We have just encountered a very big challenge. Okay. So, I was talking about time usage and limits. Okay. So, as you can see, connectivity is number 4, but it jumped to number 1. So, all right, since we are back, okay, we can resume where we left off. So, in time usage and limits, according to Andrew, uh, he's concerned that his children are spending too much time, especially on games. And I think that's a very common concern for parents. And here's Nanette in the vernacular, sagad hampang Mobile Legend. Okay, in English, he spends too much time playing Mobile Legend. I'm not even familiar what Mobile Legend is, but I suppose that is a game, an online game. Setting reasonable limits for and tech time for kids at home, according to Rose. Too much time consumed in front of the gadget. Okay, I think all parents can relate with that. Overexposure to screen may sometimes cause eye strain, according to Stella. And I'm going to talk a little more about that later on. Okay, so the next challenge is regarding parents' role. Okay, according to Rose, being a good role model, children learn more from what they see than what they are being taught. So it's a real challenge for all of us because we are also gadget users. So we have to be mindful of how we are using the gadgets and digital devices because our children are watching us. We cannot we cannot monitor his activities real time, unlike TV where we watch the same screen and I can easily switch the channel if there's sensitive content. I think this is really true, no? So in the family, every member sometimes have their own gadgets. So you don't know what they are looking at. They're holding it, and when you come nearer, they turn around, and so you cannot see. All right. Need much effort to guide young kids in complying with their tasks, especially those unfamiliar with computer functions, according to Stella. Okay, so I think she is referring here to her young son, who is also learning how to use the gadget. So she has to acquaint him and guide him on using this. Okay. And then the third is a real challenge for everyone. Additional expense to procure the gadgets for all our needs. Otherwise, we'd have to wait for one to finish using it so others can use it too. I remember when my daughter, no, she's in third year college now, and we were informed by the school that online classes are going to start August. So it was just, I think, May or June when they sent out guidelines and specifications, So we had to look at the specifications in Mbps and things like that, and we had to contact PLDT or Globe for fiber optics. But sadly, here in our area, we are not, we're not covered yet. So maybe that is why that I'm having some problems connecting with you a while ago. Okay, so that's a real challenge. And of course, fiber optics means upgrading your plan, so additional expense. Another additional expense is since usage of gadget needs internet connection most of the time. Okay, so that's related to what I just talked about. Okay, according to Cook Nanette, kagasto sa load. Okay, she means I spend so much for loads. Okay, so for some who don't have internet connection, they have to buy loads like 50, 100. And she said that before she knows it, the load, her son tells her, Mama, ubos na ang load. So she has to buy. Okay. Then the fourth is connectivity. Jajang, we have just experienced it. Now, I think I don't need to explain this because we felt it. Okay, so unstable connection. All right. So the next one is regarding academic concerns. Okay, so for our children who are doing online, classes right now, according to Stella, okay, unupdated remarks of teachers to learning tasks. There's no easy access to teachers when there are concerns, especially if on offline. Sometimes it takes him many days to see our messages. Okay, so the problem of feedbacking between parents and teachers. Okay, so especially with this the module system. Okay, we're not doing module system here at home, but I hear a lot of feedback from parents, guardians who are doing this. And I learned that they get the set of modules from the teacher on on a certain day, and then for the whole week they have that. Okay, and then at the end of the week, like Friday, that is submission day, and then they get the new set and then work on them again. The children work on them again from Monday to Friday, and so on and so forth. So you don't know, okay, if your children have done well or right in their work. Then Nanette again, ambot kon para ina sa klase niya kung mangkay mango man ako. All right? Kung kisa wala ga-entra sa klase niya. Okay? So in English, I don't know if it's for his classes. Okay? Probably she means regarding the load. Okay? Because I am also ignorant about those things. So there, when we have to regulate, monitor our children, it's so difficult if we ourselves are not familiar with these things. Okay? Because how can you monitor? How can you check? Okay? So sometimes he doesn't attend online class. All right. Well, of course, not attending class, even if online or offline, that's really a challenge for our parents to monitor with their children. Okay. The next is children's attitude. Okay. So challenge in this aspect. So Nanette says, dead ma kung suguon, labi na kung manugkaon. He plays deaf when I ask him to do something, like probably chores, especially when it's meal time. Ay nako. Okay, so so familiar. All right. I guess even if there are no gadgets, we experience this kind of problems with our kids. It can make them lazy, according to Tracy, since data is easily accessible. Kids can just Google their assignment, project, or tests, and they're done. Okay, DepEd modules are in the internet. Okay, so that's according to her observation and experience. Okay, the next is internet content and safety. Okay, earlier I was listening to the conversation between board member Ryan and Doc Tina, and they mentioned about safety. So it's also a challenge for the parents that I that I ask. So according to Tracy, censorship in the digital space is non-existent. Okay, although Facebook and Facebook has kind of imposed some checking and monitoring on this, but otherwise it's really difficult. People with ill intent can easily inject sensitive content into cartoons, vlogs, etc. For example, the Mumu. Okay, I don't even know what the Mumu is. Happy Tree Friends, Peppa Pig. So if you watch Peppa Pig, according to Tracy closely, she is actually very rude towards her friends. Okay, so those kinds of content, attitudes of the characters, etc., children pick them up. Okay, so that calls for monitoring, and that is a challenge for the parents. Then, regarding other activities for children's overall development, Rose is concerned, okay, regarding this. Encouraging family time, regular playtime, reading time, etc. at home. That will help in the overall development of the kids, no? So Rose expresses this kind of viewpoint from the parents' side, that she sees, and it's good that she sees this, that children need other activities, not just gadget engagement, okay? And it's good that she is concerned about this. Then she can do something about it for her children, because it is true. Okay, we have to look at the overall development of our children. Okay, so that they can develop into holistic individuals. And then the ninth is parent-child relationship. Okay, so for the couple, Sandro and Mylene, nag-affect man sometimes ang parents to spend quality time sa mga bata. Okay, so this means it also affects the parents' ability to spend quality time with the children. Yes, definitely. We, very what you call that, conscientious parents, affectionate parents, they would want to have quality time. Okay, and so you invite your kids to, hey, let's do this together, and etc. And then they would say, no, later, I'm still playing, etc., etc. Okay, so that can affect that also. Right. All right, so we saw the different various challenges, okay, as expressed by 7 or 8 parents. Okay, so now, according to them, of course, there are positive effects of digital technology as well. The first is on the intellectual or cognitive benefits, on the academics and their work as well, on social communication, as well as on parents' role. Okay, let's take a look at each of this and their specific or sample responses. On the intellectual cognitive benefits, okay, according to Tracy, there is wealth and accessibility of information. We learn a lot from watching videos, reading articles, watching news. It makes us more relevant in this tech-enabled world, okay? So as I mentioned earlier, Tracy has a newborn baby, no, less than 1 year. Okay, so of course, taking care of a baby is very challenging. So she does get information from the internet about what to do when the baby is, is having constipation and things like that. When is a good time to introduce what you call that, to introduce solid foods to her baby. It is good for research. It's very informative, and it's a source of news and events, according to Andrew. Then Stella says, discovery and learning of computer functions, entertained and learning some interactive videos and presentations. So she appreciates all this. For Nanette, when I asked her, right away she said, dako gid ang bulig. Damo siya nabalaan. Okay, it's really a big help. He knows a lot of things. And for Rose, she observes that there was an increase in IQ, probably intelligence and ability, the mental ability of her child, and improved learning skills. Now we go to the academics and work. It has helped us keep up with school and work demands. Okay, so definitely, the internet and computer gives this kind of benefit. More efficient ang output sa mga bata. The output of the kids are more efficient. They are learning in the comfort and security of our home. I think as parents, this is one advantage, especially that we have this COVID pandemic. My son didn't have a hard time shifting to online classes. So even before the pandemic, it appears that Tracy's son was already savvy in the use of computers and internet, things like that. So when it was time to shift to online classes, the son already knew what to do. Okay, right. Next is social communication. It's useful for communication, faster communication, according to Andrew, Sandro, and Mylene. Ease of communication with our family and friends. Less lonely despite the lockdown. Okay, so that is really very helpful, especially since, because of the distance, the isolation, you cannot travel, you cannot take a vacation and be with your folks, So video chatting, messenger, and all the social media platforms can help a lot. Positive effects, Okay, we continue to parents' role. Okay. The duty of ensuring internet safety for kids is mainly on the parents. Okay. So Rose affirms this this positive effect, okay, for the role of the parents, because yes, of course, kids don't have much knowledge yet, especially if they are in the early grade levels. Have at least ways to monitor them. Okay, so according to Stella, okay, she probably means that since this is now online classes, she's there teaching, guiding, and monitoring her son with their homework. Okay, and since she is also a college teacher, she can do this kind of task very well. Now let's go to the negative effects of digital technology. Okay, number 1 on the list, physical harm and health issues. Second is family and social relationships, intellectual and cognitive as well, misinformation, time usage, of course, financial, and on their academic performance. Okay, so let's look at the specific voices and messages. Under physical harm and health issues, no physical exercise anymore. Okay, the children are glued to their seat, their table, and their laptop or gadget, whatever, for hours and hours on end. Less physical activity because we are glued to our screens, and so therefore gained weight. Okay, poor eyesight and less sleep. Okay, so definitely apektado ang oras ng tulog. nagakatulugan sa cellphone. Bisan tulog na, nagabugtaw kung mag-ring ang cellphone niya. Okay? So, according to Nanette, his son's sleeping hours are affected. He even falls asleep on his cell phone, and even if he is already asleep, when the cell phone rings, he wakes up. So apparently there is some kind of regulation that is needed here. Next is eye strain, over fatigue, then screen fatigue and radiation. These are the observations of Sandro and Mylene and Andrew. Okay, so now let me talk a little more about physical harm and health issues, because as parents, this is really one of our top concerns, the health of our children. And so I connected with a friend of mine, okay, according to optometrist Dr. Melissa Anglo, okay. I asked her the question, have you noticed a significant increase among your patients in your optical clinic with regards to use of eyeglasses? And this is part of her response to me. Is the screen moving? I don't see it moving here from my end. Okay, there. Okay, so according to optometrist Dr. Melissa Anglo, myopia, which means nearsightedness, is now an epidemic. Okay, so together with the viral pandemic, vision problem is getting to be an epidemic. This and accommodative lag are due to non-stop or continuous use of gadgets, among other causes like, of course, genetics or binocular vision problems. Okay, so binocular means, you know, we have two eyes, right? Okay, so we need both for seeing. Symptoms like headaches, eye fatigue, difficulty in focusing, especially while reading, and dry eye occur. Okay, in Ilonggo, when we say kapait sang mata ko, no? Okay, and so we stop and then we blink our eyes rapidly, and then to give it a rest and to let the, you know, our tear duct, okay, produce the needed lubrication. Okay, so what is accommodative lag? Since I didn't know what that meant, so I asked her. It means one can't maintain single binocular vision. Okay, single binocular vision. Okay, like you have two eyes, but both your eyes need to see, okay, the same thing as one. All right, okay. Or sees prints getting blurred while being introduced closer. He loses his focus. Okay, so like when you look at something from afar, you know, and then when it comes closer to you, your eyes have to adjust and to focus and to see that object clearly. So the lag means you lose your focus. It takes time to adjust. Okay, so those are her observations. All right. So there are many other health and health issues that come out because of digital technology, no? But well, we cannot discuss them all. I just gave one example with regards to vision, and some of the parents have, our respondents have also mentioned them. Negative effects of, okay, family and social relationships. Okay, less face time, less quality time with the kids and spouse. We have sacrificed personal and family time. The overuse of technology and unsupervised access to the internet may cause many negative effects on children's social skills. You know, So one of the needs of our children as they grow is as they grow up is to develop effective skills in social relationships, getting along with people, developing a more open and friendly attitude to others, how to talk, gaining self-confidence when speaking with other people. So it's really difficult to do that if your interaction is mostly the screen. The screen doesn't talk, it has no emotions, okay? So there's no conflict. So whereas in person to person, face to face interaction of our children, they develop these skills, negotiating skills, communication skills, how to speak, how to listen. Okay, that's really very important. Okay, how to develop compassion, okay, empathy, and other values like that. Next is intellectual, cognitive, as well as emotional. It can cause distraction and concentration difficulties. Definitely, because our brain, okay, our brain gets millions of input every day. Okay, so when your brain has been trained or exposed only to Facebook, games, and etc., these things are pleasurable. So now when you have to do homework, when you have to do assignments, when you have to read an article and things like that, your brain starts, to shift or move towards your games and things like that. So you cannot focus because the pleasure side of your the pleasure center of your brain is calling you, hey, let's check how many likes did we get from that picture that you posted. Then short attention span, sometimes they become easily irritated. There is aggressiveness due to overexposure to war games. This is according to Sandro and Mylene. And Sandro mentioned that he read an article regarding this. Okay, and I'm sure there are studies regarding aggressiveness, the relationship between aggressiveness and war games. Some video presentations are too heavy for the age and grade of the student, too advanced for their age. Some learning tasks are inappropriate for their age, according to Stella. And there are too many learning tasks that overwhelmed parents and students. So I presume that she's talking about the learning modules in her son's classes, online classes, assignments, things like that. So that is one negative effect. Then the next is on misinformation. All right, so this is another very common pervading element in our environment now. Okay, media information or fake news. Okay, this is the past. I would say the past 4 years. Okay, we have been inundated by fake news, and so it makes people confused, it divides people, it makes them angry at one another, it makes them frustrated. Fifth is unwanted media content, another negative effect. Due to long period of exposure in the computer, okay, the kids tend to feel bored and get to discover online games. All right, so probably when the kids are on their own, they get bored with what they're doing. Okay, let's check on this and that, and they find online games there. All right, 6 is financial, of course, that has been mentioned, added expenses. Then the 7th is on academic performance. It affects their academic success, of course. Even before the COVID, when I was still working in the university, I have had parents who come to me because of their children's failing grades. And we did a study on this in our project for probation students. And one of the top 10 reasons for failure is computer games, gadgets, things like that. So that is a negative effect. All right, so now let's move on to family rules. Given all these challenges, these negative effects, what do these 8 parents do? Okay, so there are 5 categories from their responses. One is internet content for the grade school age children, time usage, academic work, family activities, and online etiquette. Okay, so let's look at them one by one. Regarding the first one, okay, for Sandro and Mylene, what they do is to exercise parental restrictions when it comes to accessing websites. Their children have to ask permission before downloading anything from the net or from the Google Store. Okay. Then for Tracy, okay, according to her, these are the rules. No accessing violent or bastos, offensive, etc. content. Passwords and passcodes should be shared with us. Never use your personal data online, such as name, address, age, and number. Okay, as we all know, there are online pedophiles, or we call them predators. Okay, so we have to be careful, and maybe not just predators, but scammers. Okay, all these terminologies, all these elements that have never existed before the digital revolution. No social media account. So I guess for her young son, no online shopping. We have parents, we have to be careful, if they know how to do shopping online, and then before you know it, somebody knocks on the door, mom, delivery, COD, okay, and you didn't order for any. Okay, if there are things you don't understand, always ask us. So that's her rule for her son. Next is time usage. Set time daily for online usage, not beyond 7 p.m. for Stella. Have at least 1 hour of screen time, including TV, especially after lunch, so the kids can also rest in a way. That's for Kathy. Okay, so remember, we also have to rest. That's very important for health. Okay, we have to balance work, studies, as well as recreation and rest. Schedule for everything, including gadget time. Time limit on internet time during non-school days. All right. Then, pero 0 for school days. Okay, meaning to say, gadget time for school days. But the singit man siya gihapon and gapalaban sa amay niya, he still cheats and gets his dad to side with him. Okay, so there is a challenge here for father and mother agreement that discipline should be coordinated. All right. Third, academic work. Okay, for this rule, under this rule, games are not allowed during class time. Okay, that I think that's very, of course, common, reasonable, and should be. Module first before gadget use, unless need to access Google. Finish school tasks before doing anything else online. This has also somehow increased the screen time for the children because there's just so so many things to do in online classes. So it shows, like, you know, the plus and the minus, advantages and disadvantages, pros and cons with regards to this. But definitely we have to have rules, because we are teaching our children also self-discipline. Okay, and that is one of our roles as parents, and we have to do it firmly. I'll be talking about parenting styles later on. Okay, the next is family activities. No gadgets during mealtime. You might allow them after meals. Okay, so I guess study time and mealtime, these are really sacred times in the family. Sunday is no computer use day except the online mass. So even our, religious worship are now online. So that is incorporated in our family rules. Physical play and activities are encouraged. Okay, this is good, for the practice of Stella. Okay. Now, family rules on online etiquette. For Tracy, it's clear to her, no swearing online. All right. So we hear, when the children are with their peers, sometimes in school, okay, sometimes maybe they use these kinds of languages that are not allowed at home. So now that they are online with their friends, okay, we have to monitor that. No swearing online. Family, okay, rules on role reversal. Okay, Nanette has given a very interesting feedback here. Hindi nako kapwersa sang rule kay dako na siya. Baliskad na. Siya na gani nagasaway sa akon nga hindi magpuyat, ipalayo sa mata ko, hindi mag-earphone kay mabungol daw ako. Ang bata ko na ang nagatudlo sa akon. So she means that I cannot enforce rules because he is grown up already. Okay, so Nanette has a college age son. It's reversed now. He is the one telling me not to sleep late, to hold the phone away from my eyes, not to use earphones because I will go deaf. My son is the one teaching me now. Okay, so this is very interesting. Okay, so with all of this, let's now look at the psychology of parenting. What do we do now? So let's talk about parenting intervention in children's digital engagement. I am sure that those of you who came to this webinar are interested. So, okay, Miss Becky, what do we do? Okay, so how do we intervene? All right. So, in my opinion, and I have read this too, there are no hard and fast rules or single formula that fits all, because every child, parent, or family is unique. Factors to be considered are the children's age and grade level, their school's system, whether private or sorry for that typo, whether private or public, their personalities, the parents' beliefs about digital use, parents' educational background, and so many other factors. All right. So then there are so many factors. What can we do in general? So one of the theories that I would recommend to us is to look at what we call parenting style. Okay, so this can be an effective approach. Okay, so we have to intervene based on our parenting style. We have to look at our parenting style. Okay, we have to kind of reflect, what is the style that I am using in parenting my children. Okay, because that has an effect on their behaviors. And then the second thing is to consider, what are my goals, or what is the outcome in my child's behavior regarding digital use and other aspects of his or her life. So we have to look like, you know, in the future, long term. What is the outcome that I would like to see in my children? Okay, so now let's take a look at what are parenting styles. So parenting styles in children's digital engagement, whether you are in the digital environment or not. Okay, according to Dr. Diana Baumrind, an American clinical and developmental psychologist known for her research on parenting styles, she identified 2 dimensions in parenting. Okay, next, please. Okay. First is the responsiveness or warmth, whether high or low, and demandingness or control, whether high or low as well. The first one refers to involvement, acceptance, and affect, or the emotional level that the parent expresses towards the child's needs. And then the second, control, refers to rules, regulations, and maturity expectations for the child's socialization. As I have mentioned earlier, the child's age is also a factor in how you deal with him or her. Okay, for a smaller child, okay, it's a different approach. For an older child, it's a different approach as well. That's why Nanette was saying, I cannot control him anymore, cannot give my rules because it's big na. And he's the one teaching me what to do. All right. Okay, so maturity expectations. All right, so let's see how this looks like. This warmth and control, this high and low. Okay, so we have 2, back muna. Is that Philip? Okay, yung cross lang muna, Philip, please. All right, thank you. Okay, so we have these 2 intersecting lines, okay? On the horizontal line, you have their warmth, okay? High and low warmth. How involved you are, how accepting, and how affectionate you are towards your child, okay? Then the vertical line is about control, whether high or low, okay? So how controlling are you? How rigid are your rules, okay? How low is your control when it comes to their behaviors, okay? So too much rules or no rule at all, okay? So these 2 intersecting lines create 4 quadrants, or areas. Okay, so on the upper left, let's take a look. When they combine, what kind of style comes out? When you have high control and high warmth, what kind of style it is? It is called the authoritative parenting style, the authoritative parent. And it is described as nurturing, affectionate, sets boundaries, disciplines through guidance, through guidance, because there is warmth also. The control is balanced by your warmth, okay? There is open communication, all right? There is open communication. So again, I'd like to remind everyone, this is a continuum, okay? It may be in the middle, in the, or in the extreme, okay? So that's why I said everyone is unique, okay? So you may be like 10% or 90%, things like that, Now, on the upper right quadrant, let's take a look. What is that style? If you have high control and low warmth, Then the style is authoritarian parenting style. And the characteristics are strict, inflexible, high expectations, punishes rather than disciplines. The terror dad or the tiger mom, or whatever other terms, the punisher or the dictator or whatever, you know. Okay, so that is high control and low warmth. That's the combination. Okay, now in the lower left area or quadrant, let's take a look at the style. It is called permissive parenting style. Okay, so this is the concept of Dr. Baumrind. Permissive parent is nurturing and affectionate, no, similar to the authoritative parent. However, the difference is there are few or inconsistent boundaries. So hindi siya firm. Okay? Konti lang yung rules. Okay? It takes the role. The parent takes the role of a friend rather than parent, no? So iba na, hindi na siya parent, friend na siya. So ano ba yung friend, di ba? Sa friends, wala tayong rules. Okay, pareho tayo. Okay? Equal tayo. Okay, so that's the permissive parent. Now, the last quadrant, the warmth. Okay, low warmth, low control. Okay, this is the uninvolved parent. Yung walang pake. Okay, emotionally detached, self-absorbed. Okay, so sariling mundo niya lang. Nakakalimutan niya na may anak siya na kailangan ituruan, no? Okay. Emotionally detached, self-absorbed, inconsistent, and no boundaries. Okay. Inconsistent or no boundaries. And little interaction. So, physically present but emotionally absent parent. Okay. Or worse, both. Physically as well as emotionally absent. Okay. So, the child might say, ay, si tatay, wala kaming, hindi kami nag-uusap. Okay. I don't feel like I have a father. Si mama lang. All right. So these are the 4 parenting styles according to Dr. Baumrind. All right. So how would this look? These are words. Now let's look at the images. Okay. Okay. On the upper side, right side, you have the authoritative. So there is close positive relationship, and the parent enforces rules. Kasi naman, what's the use of having rules when you are not enforcing them? Okay? Action speaks louder than words. Role modeling, as Rose earlier mentioned it, Okay? So the key here is firmness. The child has to know that you are the authority, not him or her. Okay? You're the parent. She is the daughter. Okay? So, hindi pwedeng siya ang mag-reyna. The home can only have one queen. Princess siya, pero hindi siya pwede ang reyna. Otherwise, the throne, there will be a struggle for that throne. Okay, so in my positive discipline talks, because there is a negative discipline, there is also a positive discipline. Negative discipline is when you use punishments, especially corporal punishment, child abuse, things like that. And we ask the parent, oh, the parent is asked, oh, why did you do that? Oh, because I am disciplining him or her. Okay, so little does he know that that is not discipline. That's child abuse already. And there are laws that protect children on this. Okay, whereas positive discipline means teaching. Okay, because children need discipline, but they don't need maltreatment, harsh kind. Okay, so there we have to learn more about this on positive discipline. Then the other side, the opposite, is the authoritarian. Okay, notice that the root word is the same, authoritative, and the other is authoritarian. Okay, so it's the term, the root word is authority. As parents, we have the authority, and so we have to embrace that. Whether we like it or not, we are given that authority, that responsibility, that duty. Okay, that's why to be a parent is very difficult. It's the most difficult job in the world. Okay, there is no training, there is no education. You don't go to college to get a degree in BS parenting. No school offers that. Okay, but that's the most difficult work. 24/7, no holidays, especially holidays. You get more work during holidays, you know, especially Christmas. It's coming Christmas, you know. What else? No, yeah, you can have vacation, but usually you have vacation with your kids still, you know, still with your kids. All right. Okay, so we go to the next one. Oh, wait. Can we go back, please, to the image? All right, the lower part, you have there the permissive, no, saying that kids will be kids. Then the uninvolved, you can see there from the picture that there is no interaction, there is no bonding between father and son, or maybe mother and daughter in that case. Okay, next one. All right. We have, sorry about it, it's no fault of anyone. We have overtimed a little bit. Okay, so I hope that you are still there, being patient. Anyway, it's almost near, no? Okay, the end is almost near for my presentation. So effects, okay, this is important now. What are the effects of parenting styles on children's behavior? For authoritative style, children reared by authoritative parents are self-reliant, have good self-esteem, are independent and responsible, and are achievement-oriented. These children are predictably successful academically. They are typically the most altruistic and have successful social relationships with peers. Okay, so this is based on the studies done by Dr. Bomrind and other social scientists. Next is authoritarian. Okay, this is interesting. Children raised in this style display less independence, low self-esteem, and low self-reliance. Why? Because fear is injected when you are very, dictatorial. There is fear. Yes, there is respect, but respect that is imposed, not respect that is earned. And so when you turn their back, there's a saying, when the cat is away, the mouse will play, because you have not established self-discipline. You have established instead fear. So less independence, low self-esteem, and low self-reliance, because they are used to being dictated. Children of authoritarian parents report lower levels of psychological well-being and are typically an average to good student lang, no? Because they are not allowed to do this. There's less freedom to bloom, to become the best version of them. because they are being, put down, things like that. These children may be labeled as a follower and can have anxious tendencies while also being very well behaved. Kasi nga, they're scared of being punished, so they have to be goody. Yeah, they'll just have to follow. They're not thinking on their own. Okay. Next is permissive indulgent style. Children raised in a permissive indulgent household, okay, generally have a high self-esteem. Kaya lang, they are less self-reliant and less empathetic. Why? Because they will let their parents, their mother or father do what they're supposed to do. So they don't learn self-reliance. Typically, they are a poor or average student. Permissive parents are anxious to please, usually end sentences with okay, and so are easily manipulated by family and friends. That's why to our audience, virtual audience, it's very important to learn how to say no to your children. They will use everything. They will have a tantrum, they will not talk to you and everything. My style is, I would say, okay, you can cry. It's all right to cry, but it is still no. I can say at this moment, you don't like me. That's fine with me. Okay, but it is still a no. You're not talking to me? Okay, but then tomorrow you are going to talk to me. Why? Because you need baon. So you will talk to me. So I guess you'll have to be secure also about where you stand. No, so anyway, that's just temporary, okay, because children really needs parents affection and approval. They cannot get away from that. All right, next, passive uninvolved style. Children raised in a passive uninvolved household typically perform poorly in school. Parents provide, no? Ito ang when I read this, naaawa ako, no? Kasi hindi na maximize yung potentials ng bata. Parents provide neither warmth nor control in the household, and so their children are quick to get into troubles at school, So this is the source sometimes of bullying in school. The parents are emotionally indifferent and inconsistent. Their children tend to be clingy and needy. Kasi nga walang sense of security. Hindi na meet yung need niya for emotional need niya for affection. We have to remember that our children have different needs, not just material, not just financial. They need our presence. They need our time and our attention. Okay, what's the best way to discipline a child? The best way is to have a positive relationship with your child. That's the first thing. And the second is to know their stage. Okay, kaya nga nakakalungkot, most difficult job on earth, but no training, no previous education. You just have to, sink or swim, trial and error, things like that. All right then, so let's look now at the summary of this into 8 secrets of great digital parenting. Given the challenges, positive and negative effects, and the rules, okay, so we can summarize this into 8. Number 1, talk with your kids, okay, not talk to, but talk with your kids. Communicate with them, listen to them, okay. Listening to them does not mean that you will follow everything that they will say to you, okay. Just listen. How do they feel? What do they think about it? It's a time for exchange. Then the number 2 is very important. Educate yourself. You cannot teach what you don't know or understand. That's why we have 2 learn also digital devices, benefits, hazards, and safety. And age is not a barrier, you know. You are old when you stop learning. Okay, so like I mentioned, even if I am a grandmother already of 2, I still have to learn all of this. Okay. Third, use parental controls. No, I have mentioned some of the different controls that you can follow. Set ground rules and enforce consequences. Consequences are not punishments. Consequences are the natural outcome of a certain action. Okay, and so if they don't eat, then they will go hungry. They will get sick, they will be in the hospital, and they can die. Okay. So when you explain that string of consequences, then they're scared of dying, and so they will eat. Okay. Number 5, you can friend and follow your kids, but don't stalk. And my daughter has told me, Mama, do not sermon online to me or to us or to And I said, okay, sorry. It's all right to say sorry to your kids. When you admit your mistakes, they don't, they don't lose their respect to you. Okay, you will earn that. 6, explore, share, and celebrate. You can have fun with your kids. You can watch Netflix together. You can share, memories together, explore, ask them. You ask one another. And then be a good digital role model. Sometimes I'm guilty with this. Okay, my kids are telling me, oh, Mama, okay, like Nanette, Mama, you sleep na. It's already 1:00. 8, give the necessary support for their needs, okay, especially nowadays, for their digital needs. Okay, so let me go back to our previous definition of digital parenting. Next, please. Okay, again, digital parenting are parental efforts and practices to first understand, second to support, third to regulate children's activities in digital environments. So I hope that from my presentation, you have seen how you can go about, realizing these 3 very important roles for parents in digital use. Okay, so that ends my presentation. I would like to give you this inspiration. Be the parent today that you want your kids to remember tomorrow. And so with that kind of vision, I would like to say thank you all for being patient and for being here, for listening. And I hope that this would inspire you to learn more about digitality and to become a better and more effective digital citizen. Salamat. Thank you so much.
Miss Becky, salamat, Gid, for everything that you've shared. Thank you so much. And I know everybody's been listening. We had an issue with connectivity, but we pulled through. We were able to finish, and here we are at the end. And it was a very informative presentation, Miss Becky. And actually, as a parent, I was also looking at myself where did I belong in those four types of parents that you were describing. So anyway, for everybody who's viewing us right now, we are in the open forum section of our webinar. And so everybody has a chance to post their questions. I think the link was shared earlier. So Miss Becky, we can discuss a few things, and then you can give your opinions on some of the questions. And we have our first question right now, no, from our viewers. The question is, safety has always been a parent's concern when it comes to raising kids. How can we ensure their safety in the digital world?
Okay. For me, the first thing that comes to my mind is to talk to the children and let them be aware, or ask them, ask them, not just to directly tell them. Okay. But to ask them the question, how safe do you feel in the digital world? And what kind of safety issues have you experienced? What kind of safety issues have you observed among your friends? Because they share stories and they witness it also in the social media. So there are safety issues like bashing. How do you deal with bashing? Okay. How do you deal with, what you call that sometimes? Pop-ups.
Pop-ups,
okay?
yes.
So you just click X, things like that. And then what are the things that you feel unsafe about? Okay. So talking, listening, exchanging, children need to be engaged. Okay, they need to be engaged. Or you can ask them some indirect questions. Yung mga kaibigan mo, kumusta naman sa use nila ng digital? So, of course, you have to use language that is on the level of the kids, not to use highfalutin words like that. Talk to their level, okay? And sometimes, they are the ones who would start. Mama, alam mo, yung classmate ko, nangyari sa kanyang ganito, nabash siya, ganyan. Tapos, ask, what did he do? Has that happened to you? Oo, mama, things like that. And so what did you do? And anong nangyari? Yeah, things like that.
So I guess, Miss Becky, it's just about finding out what exactly the kids fear or what they perceive as a danger to their safety. Siguro when you're talking about digital world, you're talking about their security of their, like their personal data, their privacy. And of course, cyberbullying, pictures, yes, compromising pictures, sometimes embarrassing, sometimes nobody asked permission, and sometimes like even private messages that they screenshot and they share that are not meant for public consumption. Sometimes the kids are also afraid of that, and the parents are also afraid of that.
They have to be careful. They have to be careful regarding, especially their privacy, things like that. The image that they create in the social media. So that's really very important.
Yes, and you see a lot of kids, Miss Becky, that they also try their best to protect their identity. That sometimes they don't put their real names, they don't put their pictures. We also see a lot of adults, parents, and kids who are also very, how would you call it, discerning in posting. They don't post because they're afraid that they might reveal too much about themselves in public. So that's another thing maybe that they are afraid of for their safety, na base too private, or everybody will know everything about them, which will make them vulnerable, something like that.
Yeah, that's why it's understandable also that they use what we call these avatars.
Yes, avatars.
And they have to be careful also regarding using other people's pictures.
Yes, Miss Becky, we have another question. what guidelines do we need to put in place before we introduce kids to technology?
Okay. Number one, I think you first have to be familiar. No, you first have to be familiar. That's why educate yourself. You have to be familiar with the kind of technology that you are going to introduce to the kids. So you study it first. That's one. You study it first. Because you cannot teach what you don't know yet. Okay, study it first. And then second is regarding time. When can you use this? For what purpose? And then how many hours? Things like that. And then I forgot to yun regarding the vision problem. I forgot to mention. Dr. Anglo recommended the standard rule 20-22 rule. 20-20-2. Meaning to say 20 minutes of screen time.
Okay.
After 20 minutes of screen time, you pause and look away for 20 seconds. Look into infinity, infinity as far as you can see. Now 20 seconds. And then after that, you can go back again. Okay. And then for the whole period that you are working, limit it to 2 hours. Okay. So that is the recommendation among eye specialists. Okay, 20 minutes work, screen time, 20 seconds. Infinity look, or you can, and then you can look around, things like that. Give your eyes a rest. Okay, blink to have the tear duct activated to lubricate your eyes, and then only for 2 hours you take a break, and then do an activity outdoor. Okay, and then afterwards you can go back.
That's a good guideline. We'll
guideline.
practice that 20, then 20 seconds, and then 2 hours
maximum.
I
didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that also. Actually, something similar. Something similar sa media, Miss Becky. Because when we type sa media, we're working on our stories. Our eyes get very tired sometimes because we spend so much time writing the script. So we also have that. I think I don't know exactly the time, but we were told like after 30 minutes, rest your eyes for like a few minutes lang, and then go back to work. It will recover. But this is a good guideline from Dr. Anglo. 2022.
Yes, 2020. Tapos that you can use your cell phone as a timer. I did that, when I was preparing for this, I practiced that. So I set my timer to 20 minutes. So that's for the work. Tapos so I stopped. Tapos I counted 20 seconds. Now look infinity to infinity, and then afterwards I went back until I finished my work. After it's really after 2 hours you will really get tired, good money. Okay.
So
but then sometimes
siya,
because of the deadline you have to finish everything. Sometimes more than that, but you have to discipline yourself also.
But at least it's effective, no? What I wanted to ask, with relation to that question about guidelines for determining how to let your kids use technology. For our part, as parents, me and my wife, we didn't let the kids use any gadgets until they reached, I think, grade 1, their first grade. But now
great.
I think the rules have evolved because now there's so much technology and digital involvement na sa kids, na even as young as preschool. So what is your take on that, Miss Becky? When should kids start being introduced to technology and digital gadgets?
Do not, as much as possible, do not expose your young children to gadgets on the first 4 to 5 years of their life. You know why? Those are the critical years for brain development of the child. And
So
we
I
want
guess,
our
Miss
kids.
Beck, yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
did it right. I guess we did it right
correct.
because
That's
we didn't
why. Yeah,
expose
you
them
did even
until they were,
more.
I think, 7 or 8 years old,
Oo.
and
Oo,
then
oo.
even then we really controlled. But that was the time that gadgets were not so prolific. That was mga
Oo.
2010, 2009. But now there's so many digital
Oo.
devices.
Oo.
So 4 to 5 years old is the benchmark, which is, but you see,
Oo.
subong Doc, Miss Becky, there are so many kids 3 years old, they're already holding a gadget in their hands and sometimes
That's why
calling their
it's
parents.
that's why it's wrong.
It's, yeah, it
That's why
shouldn't be
it's
done.
wrong. We really have to be
Okay.
clear about that. What is right
four
and
to
what is
five years
wrong.
old. But at least
Yeah.
our audience knows that, Miss
Oo.
Becky, because as
Oo.
parents, I think that's an important benchmark for them.
Oo.
We have another
In
question.
child psychology, the first 4 years
Okay.
is very critical to the development of the child's, brain,
Brain
motor,
skills, motor skills, fine
development.
motor skills, yes.
Imagine, yung 1 to 2 years old, they're still supposed to run around.
Yes, I
Okay,
agree.
they're supposed to run around and exercise their bodies. That is why one of the observations of doctors now, there is an increase of obesity in the young children, and it's not just the food; it's the lack of physical activity. Okay, introduce them to outdoor games, like the things that we had done before when we were young. Outdoors.
The joke is, Miss Becky, is that during our time when there was not much gadgets, the parents were scolding us to come back into the house now because we were playing too long outside. Now, the parents are scolding the kids to go out because they spend too much time inside.
Baliktad na ang
Baliktad
mundo.
na. Baliktad na ang mundo.
That's
Anyway,
true.
Miss Becky, we have another question here.
Yeah.
As parents, how do we manage the negative effects of social media to our kids?
Okay, well, let's take a look at the first is the negative, physical harm and health issues. Okay. So you have to know the limits. You have to know what are the harmful effects to the eyes, okay, to even to their hands, their muscles in their body, their weight and things like that, okay? So whatever is the negative effect that was mentioned here, you do the you look for the solution, you look for the opposite of that. Okay, so sleep, all right, know what is the required or normal amount of sleep for children. It should be around 8 to 10 hours. For older people, so less na lang, but for children, they really need that. So you have to really make an agreement and set the rules. Okay. All right. So the eye strain, I gave you the 2022. Okay. For the family and social relationship, okay. Again, engage your children in a positive bonding. Have activities, even inside your house. Bring out those what you call the board games. The chess and things like that. Well, now those who have seen what you call that, the Queen's Gambit. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Probably children are already interested. Oh, what's that? Oh, mom, we have a chess set. Yes, let's play things like that. What else? Intellectual, cognitive, emotional. That's why now that you know that aggressiveness is induced also or influenced by those war games and things like that, lessen it. Really limit. The important thing about parenting is know the limits and be firm about imposing them. Okay, so misinformation, of course, you have to provide the right information, help them to distinguish what is fake or what is true. Unwanted media content, well, you have to make them aware. I'm not because I'm not into that anymore because of my children already know, no. But I read that there are certain applications or controls in the setting where certain websites can be blocked by parents in their gadget. So you can Google because I'm sorry I cannot give the technicalities and the specifics here, but you can Google, since you are using internet, Google how do I screen or filter or block undesirable sites. And I think there's a list of undesirable websites for children.
And it's like a constant bombardment, Miss Becky, because before, I remember when cartoons were coming out in the 80s, in the 70s, there was a certain censorship of what kind of material can be shown, what kind of content, like you can't have a character hit another character on the head or use explosives or use guns. It's violence. It was like it was perceived as a negative influence on the children who are watching the cartoons. Now, with with Facebook and all these materials, YouTube and everything, there's so much material that they absorb. And like what you were saying is this is something siguro that we have to look at. Na they don't get overexposed to it. Like you said, make rules, what time they sleep, how often should they be online, to avoid that bombardment of even misinformation and fake news and violence that they see, which is actually news, because sometimes it's true. There's an accident, there's a shooting, there's crime committed. Sometimes the kids are not screened from that or protected from that. It comes out on their devices and they see. And sometimes there are media outlets who actually show the gory details, and the kids will see it just posted on their wall. So how to protect them against this? How to minimize or to process them, so to speak. Yes. We have another question, Ms. Becky. How do we manage the anxiety experienced by teenagers who cannot adjust to the challenges of online classes?
Nako,
Yes.
that is a real problem. In fact, in our neighborhood, I came to know about one student who had really, anxiety disorder na talaga siya. Naging disorder, and it was because of hindi siya makakuha ng signal. Okay?
Oh yeah.
So he was very upset and worried that he cannot fulfill the requirements. Okay, and so one important thing is to listen. Okay, hear them out, let them talk. Let them say how they feel inside. Natatakot ka. Anong natatakutan? Anong kinatatakutan mo? Ay, kasi baka ganito, okay? Or pa, okay. So, talking it out helps to decrease the anxiety and the fear. To let them identify and name their fears. Kasi anxiety is based on the emotion of fear, okay? So that is what we call a productive and positive release of fear, okay? And then kasi ang isang mahirap kasi sa mga ibang bata, not only mga children but also adults. Yun bang tinatago natin yung emotions natin, especially
gina-repress,
fear.
re-repress it.
Kasi natatakot tayo. Aside from the thing that we are scared about, we are also scared about the reaction of the people, the other people, of the person that we are talking to. Okay, so do not minimize, do not laugh at, do not scold, no, do not humiliate the child for expressing his or her anxiety. Tapos Okay, so that's one. Then the second is ask the child, ano ang nararamdaman mo? Okay, kasi they very common na kasi ngayon yung word na anxiety noon, technical yan eh. Ngayon, common na sa language, anxiety, depression, trauma, nagiging ordinary, part of the ordinary language na. Okay, kasi nasa social media they talk about it.
Yes.
And so they use it. And so you have to let them know, okay, ano nung nararamdaman mo? Okay? Yung my heart is beating very very fast, things like that. Okay? And then I feel tense and things like that. Okay? So anxiety is caused by tension because of the belief that something is threatening you. Okay? Or sometimes you cannot name that what you are scared about. You just feel scared, you know. Okay. So let them say ano ang nararamdaman nila in the body, because our emotions are expressed by our bodies. Okay? So anxiety causes tension. And so what is the opposite of tension? The opposite of tension is relaxation. Okay? The opposite of tension is relaxation. So help the child achieve relaxation. Okay? How do you do that? Do not tell them to relax. Kasi nga hindi sila makaka-relax eh. Do not tell them, relax ka lang, blah, 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 blah. Easier said than done, you know. Hello. Okay, so what you do is teach and show how to relax. Okay, so, and then explain. Explain, okay, you're anxious kasi you are, yung i-ano mo ba? Not explain, but i-reflect mo yung ano, para marinig niya na narinig mo siya. Okay, so that's part of listening. And then, teach the child how to relax. How do you relax ba? Breathing, it's so simple. I mean, you know, it's simply said, but then it's effective actually, you know. Okay.
Yes.
So, okay. I use 5-5-5 breathing.
Ano na siya,
not the 5-5-5-2 na ha. Kanina 2022. Okay. Very easy lang.
2022, subong 5-5-5.
5 seconds breathing is slow and deep. Hindi yung ganyan. Hindi.
Yeah.
Slowly. And breathe from here, from the diaphragm.
From the diaphragm.
Not from the shoulders. No.
Okay.
Okay. Then so then dito, no? Expand 5 slowly, inhale, and then pause 5 seconds. Bali, hold.
Okay.
Yan. Tapos exhale slowly. Hindi yung hindi. Okay? But okay. So you can practice that, and you can teach your children that to allow them to release that anxiety. Okay, yung sa mga clinics sometimes or sa hospitals, they use yung ano to, paper, what you call that? Paper bag. Kasi anxiety has yung mga panic attacks, and then hyperventilation. Kasi nga very fast yung breathing mo, so yung hyper oxygenate yung brain mo, yung katawan mo. Too much oxygen.
Yes. Miss Becky, actually, like
hindi nababalance yung carbon dioxide at yung oxygen.
Ang mga kids, they get stressed out because they get pressured from, like you said, no signal sa ilang online classes. Sometimes they have more difficulty comprehending, so they get stressed. And usually, first reaction of the parents is to reprimand, to get angry. How come you're having a hard time? How come you're pressured?
Kasi nasi-stress din yung parents.
Nasi-stress yung parents. And so the kids is the parents is na dapat they should not take it as, okay, you're getting stressed, so I'll get stressed, but to find out what's bothering them, listen to them, communicate, and then offer them that relaxation way of kind of calming themselves, and so that they can regroup and get back to the task at hand. And you can't do anything if they have no signal, if there's no if there's no internet, you can't do anything. There's no solution to that. Yeah. So
Kasi
anyway, we
there
go.
are several
Yes.
several ways. There are a number of ways of solving a problem. One is to directly find the solution to the cause of the problem.
Yes.
Okay. The other is to do something about your attitude or your approach to the problem. And then the third solution is to accept. No, but then in certain situations we cannot accept.
You
Kasi
cannot
nga,
accept.
online yan eh. So you have to find a solution. Okay, let's find a place where there is better signal. Let's shift to data instead of Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And then that's why the support comes in there. Financial support comes in there. You have at least an option, Wi-Fi or data. It's additional expense, but then look, you don't have to give them baon anymore. So parang nagbabalanse naman ang mga expenses, di ba?
Yeah. And so now we go, Miss Becky, to the root cause right now of our current situation, why kids and students are doing online, which is the next question. As parents are also struggling due to the threats and challenges of COVID-19 pandemic, how can they help their kids overcome stress as well? Same thing.
Yeah, okay. So we are in a way, parents and children are in the same boat also because of this situation. Okay. Where one person said we are on different boats, but the storm is the same. Okay. So in other words, we manage our stress differently. But it's true, as parents, we are also in a stressful situation. But because we are of a more mature age than our children, okay, we need also some stress management modalities or techniques so that we ourselves can handle it, and we can pass on these different approaches also to our children. I believe a couple or 3 webinars ago, Miss Jet Octaviano, si Rose, talked about stress management. And for those who have not seen that or watched that, it's still available on YouTube. You can search that. And Jet talk about stress management. So it applied. You can use some of the techniques that she had shared there.
Okay, so
did I answer the question?
Yeah, you did. Actually, it's very clear ang pag-answer mo, Miss Becky, no? Because you were talking about being in the same storm on different boats. I think that's very accurate description of what's going on, because you have the parents who are at risk of COVID because they have to go out and earn a living, and somehow they have to navigate through society without catching the virus. And then you have the kids nga out of nowhere, they're not allowed anymore to go out of the house. Nga grabing energy, there's so much youth left in them, and they don't get the chance to leave the house. And sometimes now, ang kids, just to go around the mall, they get tired na because they're not used to making lagaw na. So it's very accurate gid ang inyo ang imo description na Miss Becky. So anyway,
that's why for the parents, you have to change your style, your parenting style, from being uninvolved to being involved na with your children.
Yes, exactly. And I think that is the key to parenting. You were talking a lot about communication and listening, from digital age to touch generation until even before, during our time. I don't think that's changed. You have to listen gidya to the kids and find a way to communicate with them. Do amo gid siya, Miss Becky. Last question lang, Miss Becky, from our open forum before we let you go, because I know you also have things to do, and we're very grateful for all the time that you've given
us. That's okay. I have nowhere to go.
This is the last question lang. And so our viewers, they have actually a lot of questions, but our viewers have this last question. What coping skills can you suggest to students in handling conflict at home? At the same time, they are having online classes. This is from April Angeli Tabifranca from FB.
Oh yeah, hello April. Yes, okay. Coping skills. Nako, mahirap yan kasi yung conflict at home. It depends on who's having the conflicts. Okay?
Okay.
If the conflict is between parents, okay, they have to fix that because it is affecting their children. Okay? Now, if the siblings are the ones having conflict with one another, okay, you know, you have to deal with the conflict. Okay? You have to deal with the conflict. Kasi nga, marami ng stress, you cannot concentrate on your online classes. So you have to set time. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay? There are many ways of coping with a problem. One way to cope with the problem is people deny that there's a problem. Others, you know, they put on their earphones, they escape from the problem. Okay? The best way to deal with the problem is to face it. Okay? And then to talk harmoniously, no? To talk harmoniously, because you know, nagre-reflect ako kung minsan, what kind of home would I want to have? Okay, now the word peaceful home, okay, peace, that's very, very nebulous, that's very general. Ano ba ang peace? Okay, and the word that comes to my mind is harmony. Harmony. Okay. Do not be the source of the problem. Sometimes kasi we are the ones creating the problem or starting the problem. So you need patience. Okay? No? Mga practical things ito eh. I mean, you know, I can give you a lot of psychological strategies, but practical, day to day. Patience. Understanding with one another, know their needs. Okay, humility is very important. Why do people fight? Kasi nga yung pride, di ba? Okay, pride. Okay, so
hello,
why
sorry,
do people
sorry,
fight?
Ma'am Miss
Why
Becky,
do
I
people
lost
fight?
you for a while. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, continue. Okay, yes.
Yeah, why do people fight? Because of pride. Because of you know, selfishness and things like that. We want to be right always. Okay, so
Yes.
again, learn to listen. So for me, coping, more than coping, you have to manage it. You have to manage it. So deal with it and then talk about it. Okay. Kasi nga you have to have ano ba yun? Kind of mental state to be able to deal with online classes. Dati noon, students can use the school as an escape from their problematic home environment. Ngayon hindi na.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So family meetings. I would suggest
Family meetings.
Family meetings. Meeting ha. Meeting ha, hindi yung family war, no? Okay, meeting lang. Para bang okay, this is our agenda. You know, I mean, you know, not that formal. But hear out from one another. Okay, how is everybody? So use the you know, mealtime. Mealtime can be a good time, or after meals. Sabi, you'll say, okay, guys, okay, after dinner we will have let's have a meeting. There's something that I would like to talk about, and then you know, if it's something new, they will say, "Oh, ano na naman yun? Blah 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 blah." Don't get affected by it.
Yes.
It's
Listen,
something important.
the point
lang.
is to
Okay,
give
and
everybody
then
a chance
give your
to
purpose.
talk and everyone will listen. Yeah, that's it. Oh.
Kasi nga you have
So-
all the time in the world to talk.
Yes. Yes. Actually, we practice
it
that at home,
productively.
Miss Becky. We do our family meetings, especially if there's something important. And we give our kids the opportunity to call for a family meeting, which is something that...
That's great.
Yeah, we let them, if they really feel there's something important, we ask them, do you want to call a family meeting? Sometimes they'll say no because they're not sure how to facilitate it. But sometimes they'll say, yes, we'd like to talk. So it's always good to have that family meeting. I
You can
first-hand
Google. You
experience.
can Google family meetings.
Yes,
Steps on
amo na
family
yan,
meetings.
Miss Becky.
And
Everything
under
is
yan sa
available on
non-violent
Google.
communication. Under yan sa non-violent communication, NVC.
Oh, okay. Non-violent communication. That's actually a good
Yeah,
so
non-violent
something to
communication.
Okay. Miss Becky, I'm gonna let you go na. Maybe siguro I'll let you give our viewers one final message on digital parenting. Thank you so much for your talk. Last message lang for our viewers, Miss Becky. What would you like them to take away from all of this?
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, okay, guys, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share about this very relevant topic. And of course, like I said, parenting is not easy. We go into it unprepared, okay, and it poses so many challenges. And one of our present challenge is the digital media, especially. And second, of course, I mean, not in that order, but with the given pandemic also, it's doubly or maybe tripled challenge for all of us. However, it is not a hopeless situation. In fact, I think, with a proper mindset, an open mindset, this pandemic and this digital technology has offered us a very great opportunity. Opportunity for learning, opportunity for strengthening family relationships, for supporting one another, and for being open to one another so that we can really strengthen our families. We can help our children journey through this difficult path in this difficult and stormy time. But I think if we can just help one another, educate ourselves, by your coming here, you are showing that you are serious about your responsibilities as parents. And so I hope that somehow my presentation has given you some ideas and some thoughts and inspiration to become the kind of parent that you would like your children to remember someday. So, madamo gid nga salamat.
That's a very relatable webinar talk about the digital parenting. We would like to express our most profound appreciation to our expert and very resilient speaker, Ma'am Lanes, and to our moderator, Board Member Gamboa, for extraordinarily facilitating this webinar in spite of the challenges of our intermittent connection. Shall we give them a virtual round of applause? Yes. Now we move on to the awarding of our certificates to our resource speaker and our moderator. The certificate reads, let me flash the certificate right now. Okay, so yeah, This certificate will be given to our resource speaker, Provincial Government of Negros Occidental Language and Information Technology Center, or NOLITC, awards this certificate of appreciation to Ma'am Becky Verdon-Lanes as a gesture of our gratitude for the commendable service and for the valuable expertise she shared as our resource speaker for the topic Digital Parenting Webinar, given this second day of December 2, 2020 via YouTube and Facebook live streaming. Signed by Dr. Maria Cristina V. Arbicido, NOLITC Vocational School Administrator. All right, and thank you so much, Ma'am Becky, for extending your knowledge and your expertise to our participants this afternoon. We really would like to express also our sincerest gratitude to our participants for staying with us all the way up to the end of this webinar. We do really understand that, we experienced some technical glitch along the way. So there, we would like to read some of the comments or feedback, okay, of our speaker to our speaker. Okay, so but before that, we also would like to present this certificate of appreciation to be given to our moderator, Honorable Ryan M. Gamboa. As a gesture of our gratitude for the commendable service he extended to us as our moderator for this talk in Digital Parenting Webinar, given this second day of December 2020, via YouTube and Facebook live streaming, signed by Vocational School Administrator of NOLITC, Dr. Maria Cristina V. Arbicido. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, Board Member Ryan Gamboa. Moreover, we would like to thank our active participants again for staying with us up to the end of this webinar session. I would like to emphasize how you can get a digital certificate for this webinar. Please provide us your evaluation through the link provided in the description box below. Okay, so do this right after the webinar ends. All right, so please remember that your email address should be typed in correctly. Be careful with the spelling of your email address so it won't bounce back. The evaluation site again will be opened until 12 midnight. All right, so at this point in time, let me bring back to you again our moderator, Board Member Ryan Gamboa, for his synthesis.
Heart. And well, we listened to a lot of things that Miss Becky said, no, but I think one of our greatest takeaways would be, no matter if you're in the digital age, if you're in the 80s, 90s, or even the touch generation, the most important thing as a parent is to evaluate the situation, provide some time to listen to the concerns of your children, especially when it involves stress or bullying or something that is pressuring them in some way, or problems that they're having, and allow them to communicate. I think one important thing is to allow them to relax, because if they're stressed, if they're anxious, then they won't perform, no matter how much you pressure them, whether it's online learning or just moving around in this digital world, living their life on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, or whatever. Siguro another thing that Miss Becky talked about was the 7 secrets of great digital parenting. I'm going to read it again. Number 1, talk to your kids. Number 2, educate yourself. Number 3, parental controls. This is something that maybe we have to learn because we don't know too much about, but we have to research, and all the information is available on the internet. Number 4, set ground rules and enforce consequences. Number 5, friend and follow, but don't stalk. We have this tendency to overwatch or over monitor our kids. So that's the advice of Miss Becky. Friend and follow, but don't stalk. It's a privilege that we can friend them and we can follow them. But once we start stalking them, of course, we'll be treated also like a stalker, even though we're parents. They'll feel a little under pressure or under the microscope. Number 6, explore, share, and celebrate. Enjoy the digital age. There's so many positive things. So enjoy it together with your kids, experience it together, explore it together, and celebrate it together. And the last one is be a good digital role model. Of course, they can see your posts, they can see your rants, they learn from your example. You are their role model. So if you are a good digital parent, not only in posting, but in imposing rules and in creating guidelines for the house or guidelines for your family in the digital age, then they will also follow, because sometimes they listen to actions rather than words. So this has all been very educational. I specifically like the chart that Miss Becky gave about parenting styles, and I'm sure those who are listening were able to think also, what kind of parent are you? Are you authoritative? Are you authoritarian? Are you permissive? Or are you uninvolved? No, so those are things to think about, because sometimes you think you want to be like this, kagale, you are different. So find out what kind of a parent you are and what kind of parent you really want to be, and which one will have the best effect or the most productive effect on your kids. It all boils down to what Miss Becky talked about, which is digital parenting at the start. Digital parenting describes parental efforts and practices for 3 things, which are comprehending, supporting, and regulating children's activities in digital environments. So remember, comprehend, understand, support, because they need your support, because they're your kids, and regulate, because there's so much information, there's so much stimulus and stimuli out there. You need to regulate your children's activities, or else they might get hurt, or they might get an overdose, and it might hurt them also, and it might make them suffer in the long run. So these are some of the few takeaways that I'm sure you've also observed sa aton mga viewers right there. And I'd like to say thank you again to Miss Becky for a very informative, very detailed, and very enlightening talk about digital parenting. This will help me, even though I have 2 grown kids. This will help me, and I'm sure it will help the other parents who are watching us out there. And thank you again to NOLITC. So that's all for tonight. Madamong salamat. Thank you so much to everyone. We hope to see you in more GAD webinars, which are conducted by NOLITC. Congratulations to NOLITC for successful webinars over this entire COVID pandemic time. And we hope for more even when a cure is found. So thank you, and God bless to all.
Let us give our resource speaker and our moderator a virtual round of applause again. Thank you so much, Ma'am Becky and board member Ryan Gamboa. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes our GAD Webinar 6, Digital Parenting. Tomorrow, we will have another exciting webinar about mental health. Catch Miss Jet Octaviano as she will bring to us tips and advices about psychological wellness. See you in the same platform that you are currently using. Do not forget to do your online evaluation right after the end of this webinar. You should be able to receive a link of our webinar link for tomorrow through your email address that you have provided. So that's it, everybody. Please stay safe and take care. NOLITC inspire, NOLITC cares. Avance Negrense. Have a safe afternoon.